The late 1970s gave rise to a vision of the future that still echoes with quiet power today. Battlestar Galactica was more than a science fiction adventure. It was a story about survival, family, and the fragile thread of hope stretching across the stars. Decades have passed since audiences first followed the last remnants of humanity fleeing the Cylons, and time has transformed the faces we once knew so well. Some found peace, others endured hardship, and a few carried the weight of their legacy until the very end. So now, after all these years, one question lingers like a distant transmission: what became of them? Adama, played by Lauren Green, stood at the heart of the series in 1978, at age 63, embodying wisdom, authority, and quiet sorrow as the leader of a dying civilization. His Adama was not just a commander, but a father figure, a man burdened by impossible decisions, his deep, resonant voice becoming one of the show's most unforgettable elements. On screen, he radiated calm strength, yet beneath it lay a constant tension between duty and grief. Green's real life mirrored that dignity already, a seasoned star. He carried the show with gravitas and professionalism. After the series, he continued acting and even hosted nature programs, showing a gentler side that contrasted with his stern persona. His personal life was marked by stability and respect, a rare achievement in Hollywood. But in a quiet and tragic turn, his health declined following surgery, and in 1987, he passed away at 72 from complications related to pneumonia. His legacy endures as a symbol of leadership defined not by power, but by compassion. Count Balter, played by John Colicos, brought a different kind of presence to the screen at age 50, a man driven by ambition, fear, and self-preservation. Balter was the ultimate survivor, a traitor whose nervous energy and moral ambiguity made him both fascinating and unsettling. His constant dread of the Cylons he once served added a layer of tragic irony, turning him into more than a simple villain. Colicos, however, was far removed from such duplicity in real life. A classically trained stage actor, he had performed Shakespeare and earned respect in theatrical circles long before stepping into science fiction. The contrast between his refined artistry and Balter's desperation became one of the show's most compelling behind-the-scenes truths. Yet despite his talent, he often remained overshadowed by the very character that defined him. In his later years, he continued working steadily until his health declined, and in 2000, he passed away at 71 from heart failure. His portrayal remains one of television's most enduring studies in fear and betrayal. Colonel Ty, played by Terry Carter, was introduced at age 50 as the steady backbone of the fleet, a disciplined officer whose loyalty to Adama never wavered. Ty's calm authority and measured judgment made him a pillar of strength, often acting as the quiet counterbalance to chaos. On screen, he projected control and reliability, a man who carried responsibility without seeking recognition. Off-screen, Carter's life was equally groundbreaking. He was one of the first black actors to hold such a commanding role in a major science fiction series, subtly reshaping representation in television. Beyond acting, he built a successful career as a producer, contributing to the industry in ways many viewers never saw. The most remarkable twist in his story is its longevity. While many of his co-stars passed decades earlier, Carter lived a full and accomplished life, witnessing generations rediscover the show. He passed away in 2024 at the age of 95, a rare and poignant reminder that some legacies endure far longer than expected. Apollo, played by Richard Hatch, was the emotional core of the younger generation, portrayed at age 33 with intensity, charisma, and vulnerability. As Adama's son, Apollo carried the weight of expectation, balancing heroism with deeply personal conflict. His courage in battle was matched by his internal struggles, making him one of the most relatable figures in the series. Hatch's real-life journey echoed that same passion. After the show ended, he faced the harsh realities of an industry that moved on too quickly, enduring financial difficulties and periods of uncertainty. Yet he never abandoned the story that defined him. In a powerful and deeply human twist, he became one of the most vocal champions for reviving Battlestar Galactica, dedicating years of his life to keeping its spirit alive. His persistence ultimately helped reignite interest in the franchise. Tragically, after a private battle with pancreatic cancer, he passed away in 2017 at 71. His legacy is not just Apollo, but the unwavering devotion of a man who refused to let a story fade. Imperious leader, announcer, played by Patrick McNee, lent his commanding voice to the cold, calculating authority of the Cylons at age 56, creating a presence that was both distant and deeply unsettling. Though rarely seen, his voice carried weight, shaping the tone of the enemy with an almost regal menace. It was a striking departure from the suave, charming roles that had defined much of his earlier career. In reality, McNee was known for elegance, wit, and sophistication, making his transformation into the voice of mechanical tyranny all the more fascinating. His life beyond the show was rich with artistic achievement, spanning decades of film and television, as well as writing and personal exploration. Unlike many of his co-stars, his later years were marked by peace and reflection rather than struggle. He passed away quietly in 2015 at the age of 93 from natural causes, a gentle ending for a voice that once echoed with the authority of an empire. Flight Sergeant Jolly, played by Tony Schwartz, appeared at age 35 in 1978 as one of the fleet's most dependable ground crew leaders, a man whose role was not defined by glory but by consistency. Jolly was the connective tissue of the Galactica's operations, coordinating pilots, managing chaos, and ensuring that every mission had a chance to succeed. His calm demeanor and approachable nature made him quietly beloved, even if he rarely stood in the spotlight. In real life, Schwartz's story took a surprising turn away from Hollywood. After his time on the series, he chose a more private path, stepping back from acting and embracing a quieter life out of the public eye. This decision, rare in an industry driven by visibility, became the defining contrast of his journey. Though he left behind the fame he once touched, he gained something more: personal peace and anonymity. In 2016, he passed away at the age of 73 after battling cancer, remembered not for grand stardom, but for the steady presence he brought to a world in crisis. Dr. Wilker, played by John Dulligan, was introduced at age 49 as the inventive mind of the fleet, a scientist whose ingenuity often bridged the gap between survival and extinction. Wilker's personality blended intellect with warmth, particularly in his interactions with Boxy and the robotic dog Muffet, where his softer, almost paternal side emerged. These moments added emotional depth to a character rooted in logic. Dulligan himself built a long and steady career as a character actor, appearing across numerous television series without ever becoming a household name, a quiet consistency that mirrored Wilker's role. The most striking aspect of his life was his very anonymity. In an industry obsessed with fame, he carved out a respected but low-profile career. Behind the scenes, he was known for professionalism and reliability, traits that sustained his decades-long presence. He passed away in 2009 at 78 after a prolonged illness, leaving behind a body of work defined not by flash, but by enduring substance. Dr. Selleck, played by George Murdoch, brought compassion and moral clarity to the fleet at age 48, serving as the chief medical officer in a world where life was constantly under threat. Selleck was more than a doctor, he was a moral compass, often confronting ethical dilemmas that had no easy answers. His calm voice and measured decisions offered a sense of stability in the face of uncertainty. Murdoch's real-life career followed a similarly thoughtful path. Known for portraying authoritative figures, he became a familiar face across television, his distinctive presence lending credibility to every role. Yet a lesser-known dimension of his life reveals a deep commitment to education and mentorship, guiding younger performers and sharing his craft. This dedication to others became one of his most meaningful contributions. In 2012, he passed away at 81 due to complications from kidney cancer, leaving behind not only performances, but a legacy of guidance and quiet influence. Starbuck, played by Dirk Benedict, burst onto screens at age 33 as the fleet's most charismatic and unpredictable pilot, a gambler, a flirt, and a fearless warrior whose confidence often masked deeper fears. With his ever-present cigar and effortless charm, Starbuck became an instant icon, embodying rebellion and resilience in equal measure. Yet Benedict's real-life journey would prove even more dramatic than fiction. At the height of his career, he was diagnosed with prostate cancer, a moment that could have ended everything. In a bold and controversial decision, he rejected conventional treatment in favor of alternative methods, a choice that drew skepticism but ultimately led to his recovery. This turning point reshaped his life, inspiring him to write and speak about health, survival, and personal conviction. Despite the ups and downs of his career, he found renewed purpose beyond acting. Now 81, he remains a living legend to fans. His story defined not just by Starbuck's bravado, but by real-life courage. Boomer, played by Herbert Jefferson Jr., took to the screen at age 29 as a loyal and skilled Viper pilot, a steady counterbalance to Starbuck's impulsive nature. Boomer's personality was grounded, disciplined, and deeply principled, making him a figure of trust within the fleet. His bravery was not loud, but consistent, reflecting a quiet heroism that resonated with audiences. Jefferson's journey beyond the series expanded in meaningful ways. While he continued acting, he he also moved into producing and became an advocate for preserving the contributions of black performers in Hollywood. A mission that added depth to his legacy. The most compelling contrast in his life lies in his transition from performer to historian and advocate, ensuring that stories like his would not be forgotten. Through both success and industry challenges, he maintained a sense of purpose and dignity. Now 86, he stands as one of the last living links to the original series, carrying its history forward with quiet strength. Athena, played by Marion Jensen, emerged at age 22 in 1978 as the compassionate daughter of Adama, a character who balanced emotional sensitivity with quiet resilience. Athena's warmth and empathy made her a grounding presence within the chaos of the fleet, particularly in her relationships with her father and fellow survivors. She often represented hope not through strength in battle, but through emotional endurance. Off-screen, Jensen's life took a deeply unexpected turn. At the height of her rising career, she was forced to step away from acting due to serious health issues, including a prolonged struggle with Epstein-Barr virus. This abrupt departure marked one of the most poignant contrasts in the cast of promising actress choosing survival over stardom. Yet in that loss, she found a different kind of fulfillment, building a private life centered on health and personal well-being. Now 69, she remains a quiet figure, her legacy defined as much by what she left behind as what she achieved. Boxy, played by Noah Hathaway, brought innocence to the series at just 7 years old, a child navigating a universe defined by loss and uncertainty. With his robotic companion, Muffet, at his side, Boxy became a symbol of the future the fleet was fighting to protect. His wide-eyed wonder offered moments of light in an otherwise heavy narrative. Hathaway's real-life journey, however, was far from simple. After gaining further fame in the never-ending story, he faced personal struggles that pulled him away from the spotlight, including physical injuries and periods of instability. The most striking twist in his story is his eventual reinvention. He rebuilt his life through tattoo artistry and fitness, forging a new identity beyond acting. This transformation reflects a resilience that echoes the survival themes of the show itself. Now 54, Hathaway stands as a testament to recovery and reinvention, his life shaped by challenges far greater than those he faced on screen. Cassiopeia, played by Lorette Spang, appeared at age 26 as a character who underwent one of the most meaningful transformations in the series. Initially introduced with a more glamorous and ambiguous background, Cassiopeia evolved into a dedicated medical trainee, proving that identity could change even in the most desperate circumstances. Her journey from self-interest to service became a quiet arc of redemption, one that resonated deeply with viewers. Spang's real-life path mirrored this sense of evolution. After stepping away from acting, she focused on family life and personal growth, later reconnecting with fans through conventions and retrospectives. A lesser-known aspect of her life is her academic curiosity and continued intellectual engagement beyond the entertainment industry. The contrast between early fame and later introspection defines her story. Now 74, she lives a balanced and reflective life, remembered for a character who proved that change is always possible. Sheba, played by Anne Lockhart, entered the story at age 25 as a fierce and disciplined warrior, the daughter of Commander Kane, carrying both strength and emotional complexity. Sheba's leadership and vulnerability created a layered character, one shaped by loss, duty, and the weight of expectation. Her determination made her stand out in a series filled with strong personalities. Off-screen, Lockhart's life reflected a similar resilience. She continued working steadily in television and film, navigating the unpredictable nature of Hollywood with persistence. Behind the scenes, she faced personal hardships, including loss within her family, yet remained committed to her craft. The most compelling aspect of her journey is her endurance, continuing forward despite adversity, much like the character she portrayed. Now 72, she remains active and connected to fans, a living reminder of strength forged through both fiction and reality. Rajal, played by Sarah Rush, was portrayed at age 27 as a figure of elegance and diplomacy, representing order and structure within the fragile society of the fleet. Rajal's poise and intelligence offered a counterbalance to the chaos of war, embodying the idea that civilization must endure, even in exile. Her presence suggested that survival was not only about fighting, but about preserving identity and culture. Rush's real-life journey extended far beyond acting, while she maintained a steady career in television. She also became deeply involved in philanthropic work, particularly supporting military families and veterans. This connection between her on-screen world and real-life contributions adds a meaningful layer to her legacy. The highlight of her story lies in this transition from performer to advocate, using her platform for lasting impact. Now 70, she continues to live a life defined by grace, compassion, and a commitment to others. Green Bean, played by Ed Begley Jr., appeared at age 29 in 1978 as one of the fleet's reliable Viper pilots, a character who rarely commanded the spotlight but helped define the realism of the Galactica's endless struggle. Green Bean represented the quiet majority, the disciplined soldiers who carried out orders, faced danger without recognition, and kept the fragile system functioning. Though his screen time was limited, his presence grounded the story in authenticity. Off-screen, Begley's life took a remarkable and unexpected direction. While many actors pursued greater fame, he became one of Hollywood's earliest environmental activists, long before sustainability became a cultural priority. In a striking contrast to the high-tech world of the series, he embraced a minimalist lifestyle, even generating his own power and commuting by bicycle. This commitment defined his identity more than any acting role. Through career fluctuations and personal challenges, he built a life rooted in purpose, family, and advocacy. Now 76, he remains a respected voice in environmentalism, proving that impact often grows far beyond the screen. Giles, played by Larry Minetti, entered the series at age 31 with a subtle edge, portraying a man shaped by survival instincts and moral ambiguity. Giles was not a traditional hero, but rather someone who navigated the uncertain boundaries between right and wrong, reflecting the complexities of life within a collapsing civilization. His charm and unpredictability made him quietly compelling, hinting at a larger story beneath the surface. Minetti's real-life journey evolved in a more visible and ultimately rewarding direction. After Battlestar Galactica, he gained widespread recognition through Magnum P.I., where his career reached new heights. Yet one of the most surprising turns came later when he transitioned into writing, authoring books that reflected on his experiences in Hollywood with honesty and introspection. This shift revealed a thoughtful depth that contrasted with his earlier on-screen persona. Now, 78, he lives a life that blends storytelling, legacy, and reflection, far removed from the uncertainty his character once embodied. Lieutenant Bree, played by Janet Julian, stood out at just 19 years old in 1978 as one of the fleet's youngest pilots, a symbol of courage forged in the face of overwhelming odds. Bree's presence carried emotional weight, representing a generation forced to grow up too quickly, her determination masking the vulnerability of youth. Though her role was not central, it left a lasting impression as a reminder of the human cost of survival. Julian's real-life path took one of the most unexpected turns among the cast. At a time when many anticipated a continued rise in acting, she made the bold decision to leave Hollywood entirely. In a remarkable act of reinvention, she pursued higher education and became a lawyer, building a career defined by intellect, discipline, and purpose. This transformation stands as a powerful contrast between fleeting fame and lasting achievement. Now, 66, she lives a life shaped not by the roles she played, but by the choices she made beyond the spotlight. Bojack, played by Jack Stauffer, brought intensity and command to the fleet at age 32, portraying a seasoned pilot whose leadership reflected both strength and hidden strain. Bojack was a figure shaped by responsibility, a man who carried the burden of command in a world where every decision could mean life or death. His controlled demeanor hinted at deeper emotional layers, making him one of the more quietly complex characters in the series. Stauffer's career followed a similarly steady and evolving trajectory. While he continued acting in television, he eventually expanded into directing and producing, embracing storytelling from behind the camera. This transition marked a significant shift, allowing him to shape narratives rather than simply perform them. A lesser-known aspect of his life is his dedication to mentoring and creative development, guiding projects and people alike. Now 80, he remains connected to the industry, his influence enduring in ways that extend beyond his on-screen presence. Serena, played by Jane Seymour, appeared at age 27 as a compassionate reporter whose journey became one of the most emotionally powerful arcs in the series. Serena's transformation from observer to survivor, from hope to heartbreak, culminated in a tragic fate that left a lasting impact on audiences. Her death was not just a plot point, but a moment that underscored the fragility of life within the fleet. Yet, in a striking contrast, Seymour's real-life story unfolded with extraordinary success and longevity. Following her role, she rose to international stardom, building a career that spanned decades across film, television, and even the arts as a painter and author. Despite personal struggles, including multiple marriages and public scrutiny, she continually reinvented herself, finding resilience in both her professional and personal life. The highlight of her journey lies in that enduring stability to thrive beyond adversity. Now 75, she remains vibrant and active, a living testament to strength, grace, and lasting relevance. Time has carried the cast of Battlestar Galactica far beyond the distant galaxies they once explored, yet their stories remain deeply human. Some found quiet fulfillment, others achieved lasting fame, and a few faced struggles that mirrored the very themes they portrayed. Together, they created more than entertainment. They built a legacy of resilience, loss, and hope. Decades later, their light still travels, like a signal across space, reminding us that even the oldest stories never truly fade, they simply wait to be rediscovered.